Legislator Delvecchio Hoffman, can you hear me?
Now I can.
Thank you.
The December 13th, 2022 meeting of the Monroe County Legislature will now come to order. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Mr. Alcoffer. Mr. Alcoffer is present. Ms. Barnhart. Ms. Barnhart is present. Mr. Baines. Mr. Baines is present. Mr. Blankley. Mr. Blankley is present. Mr. Brew. Mr. Brew is present. Mr. Burgess. Mr. Burgess is present. Mr. Colby. Mr. Colby is present. Mr. Delahaney. Mr. Delahaney is present. Ms. Delvecchio Hoffman.
Present.
Ms. Delvecchio Hoffman is present. Mrs. DeFlorio. Mrs. DeFlorio is present. Mr. Dondorfer. Mr. Dondorfer is present. Mr. Frazier. Mr. Frazier is present. Ms. Hasman. Ms. Hasman is present. Mr. Hebert is excused. Ms. Hughes Smith. Ms. Hughes Smith is present. Mr. Johns. Mr. Johns is present. Mr. Keller. Mr. Keller is present. President Lamar.
Here.
President Lamar is present. Mr. Long. Mr. Long is present. Mr. Mafucci. Mr. Mafucci is present. Mr. McCabe. Mr. McCabe is present. Mr. Milne. Mr. Milne is present. Mr. Morris. Mr. Morris is present. Ms. Roman. Ms. Roman is present. Ms. Smith. Ms. Smith is present. Ms. Taylor. Ms. Taylor is present. Ms. Vasquez Simmons. Ms. Vasquez Simmons is present. Ms. Vecchio. Yep. And Mr. Udelson. Mr. Udelson is present.
Please stay seated. I would like to introduce Father Lance Gagnoy of St. Kateri Parish, who has been invited by Legislator David Long to lead us in a moment of prayer.
Honored to be here. Thank you for your kindness. And I know we all come from different faith backgrounds, so I'll offer a general prayer to pray for this legislative body and for the needs of our community. If you'd like to join in, you can simply say, hear us, Lord. Almighty God, we ask your guidance and your blessing this evening for this legislative body. We pray, hear us, O Lord. For all of those who serve our community in so many various ways, and all of those in public service, we pray, hear us, O Lord. For all those who work in our police agencies, in our fire protection agencies, in our ambulance crews, we pray, hear us, O Lord. For peace in our world, particularly in areas that are filled with much violence, and for an end to the fighting between Ukraine and Russia, we pray, hear us, O Lord. For all people who work each day to help those who are in need, those who are addicted, those who are homeless, those who are in need of assistance, we pray, hear us, O Lord. For an end to the violence that we experience in our own community, for pathways to peace, and for those who work to try to make that possible, hear us, O Lord. Finally, in gratitude for our families who sacrifice for us, and that this holiday season may be a time of joy and peace, we pray, hear us, O Lord. And finally, in this evening's discussion, then it be one that helps our greater community to be able to resolve the needs that are there, and that it may be one that is cooperatively worked with others, always in appreciation of all that is given. We pray, hear us, O Lord. Hear us, O Lord, in our prayers and the many that we have in our hearts. Allow all of us to know of your love for us, and may we be witnesses of it to others. We ask this in your name. Amen.
Thank you, Father. We would like to present you with the certificate on behalf of the legislative body. Thank you, sir. Please stand as Legislator Udelson leads us in the Pledge of Allegiance. To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I'm sorry, at this time, I would ask you to remain standing. Without objection, we will take agenda item number 79 and 80 out of the regular agenda order. Agenda item number 79 is moved by Legislator Brew and seconded by Legislator Roman. Will the clerk please read the resolutions entitled Expressing Regret of the Monroe County Legislature on the recent passing of Howard Rellin, former Monroe County District Attorney.
Expressing regret of the Monroe County Legislature on the recent passing of Howard Rellin, former Monroe County District Attorney. Be it resolved that the Monroe County Legislature hereby expresses its deep sympathy at the recent passing of Howard Rellin, longtime Monroe County District Attorney, who passed away Wednesday, December 7, 2022. And whereas Howard Rellin was born in Rochester on March 2nd, 1941, and passed away on December 7th, 2022 at the age of 81. He is survived by his loving wife of 34 years, Betsy, children Joni, Michael, and Maura, grandchildren Emily, Becca, Connor, Jake, Trevor, Graham, TJ, Conrad, Jeff, and Steve, and great-grandchildren Charlie and Jack. He was predeceased by his parents, Charlie and Belle, brother Gerald, daughter Marty, and grandson Andrew. And whereas Howard served his community in the district attorney's office for 35 years, starting as a trial prosecutor in 1968 before working his way up to be district attorney in 1983 and being reelected multiple times until his retirement in 2003. And whereas Howard was very active in professional organizations, including serving as president of the District Attorneys Association of the State of New York, as well as on the board of the National District Attorneys Association. And whereas Howard always made sure others got credit when credit was due. And several of those who served under his tutelage have gone on to higher offices themselves, including judgeships and 2 Monroe County District Attorneys. And whereas Howard will be remembered as a model public servant who always fought to protect his community. He always made time for his family, making sure they spent quality time together despite the rigors of his position. Even in retirement, he kept giving back to his community and will be remembered for his dedication to the people of Monroe County. And be it further resolved that the clerk of the legislature is hereby requested to forward a copy of this resolution to the bereaved family. This resolution was adopted unanimously with each legislator rising in his or her place for a moment of silence.
Agenda item number 80 is moved by Legislator Brew and seconded by Legislator Roman, expressing regret of the Monroe County Legislature on the recent passing of Nan Johnson, former Monroe County legislator.
Expressing regret of the Monroe County Legislature on the recent passing of Nan Johnson, former Monroe County legislator. Be it resolved that on New Year's Day 2020, Nan Johnson gathered with 99 other women in the March for Women's Equality wearing suffragist white on the streets of Pasadena, California, in the Tournament of Roses parade as part of a float commemorating the 100th anniversary of the 19th Amendment, which gave U.S. women the right to vote. Whereas Nan dedicated her life to public service, including as Monroe County legislator, 21st District from 1975 to 1995, served as the first female majority leader, and also served 6 years as chairwoman of the Human Services Committee, overseeing the largest part of the county budget. And whereas Nan worked as a political science and women's studies professor at the University of Rochester, was a trustee of the State University of New York, a passionate second-wave feminist, and an inexhaustible warrior for child welfare, prison reform, public education, and many other measures of how societies treat their most vulnerable. And whereas in 1995, Nan became the founding director of the U of R's Susan B. Anthony Center, served on the board of the Women's Hall of Fame in Seneca Falls, was instrumental in the formation of the Maternal, Infants, and Children Policy Group in the county legislature, and with legislator Joanne Van Zant formed the Monroe County Advisory Committee on Women's Issues. And whereas in 1998, Nan co-chaired Forum 98, marking the 150th anniversary of the first U.S. Women's Rights Convention, which was attended by Elizabeth Cady Stanton and Frederick Douglass, and was held in Seneca Falls, New York in July of 1848. And whereas Nan Johnson passed away on November 25th, 2022, 6 months after the passing of her husband of 65 years, Bill Johnson, in Pasadena. Nan and Bill were what Hollywood would call a power couple, who both worked tirelessly to beautify and preserve Rochester's historic neighborhoods, in addition to raising 2 children. And whereas Nan is survived by daughter Miranda Johnson Haddad and her husband Mark Haddad of Pasadena, and son Reed Johnson and wife Marla Dickerson of Los Angeles, and 3 grandchildren. Be it further resolved that the clerk of the legislature is hereby requested to forward a copy of this resolution to the bereaved family. This resolution was adopted unanimously, with each legislator rising in his or her place for a moment of silence.
Your copies of Day 16, November 15th, 2022 are available through Novus Agenda. Without exception, these journals will stand approved as submitted. In accordance to New York State law and Monroe County local law entitled Hybrid Video Conferencing by County Public Bodies, the Legislature Clerk's Office has been working on figuring out a way in which to allow hybrid meetings under the extraordinary circumstances for legislators alongside a live time ASL interpreter. Today is our first attempt at a hybrid meeting. Please bear with us, the clerk's office, as they work to create an equitable functioning method of facilitating legislative meetings, both in person and virtually, under circumstances that are permitted at the discretion of the president. I want to remind every legislator to make sure they speak clearly into the mic whenever addressing this body. Any suggestions should be shared with the clerk's office so they can work to improve the system. Legislators, the referrals submitted to the legislature for the next committee cycle are available on Novus Agenda as well as online. Mr. Clerk.
The county executive disapproval of local law entitled Amending Monroe County Charter and Administrative Code relating to legislative redistricting and term of office of members of county legislature was transmitted to the legislature and the public via file 22-0425, which was deemed a read in print by President Lamar. The objections are hereby presented to the legislature and will be entered into the journal in accordance with Section 21 of Municipal Home Rule Law.
Thank you. There are several proclamations scheduled this evening. Mr. Clerk.
Would Ralph Rocky Fratto please come forward? Fratto. Also, Legislator Mercedes Vasquez Simmons and President Sabrina Lamar. That's good. I think you are right there. But we'll figure it out.
If there's a way, yeah, just stand on that side, because there's several deaf people in the front.
Okay.
Whereas it is the sense of this legislature to honor and celebrate the people and organizations that make Monroe County and the city of Rochester a better place to live. And whereas attendant to such concern, the legislature is justly proud to honor Ralph Rocky Fratto. And whereas Rocky Fratto was born on October 29th, 1958 in Geneva, New York, to Ralph and Conchetta Fratto. And whereas Rocky is known as the pride of Geneva and is a boxing legend in the greater Rochester and Finger Lakes region. And whereas he began his career at the age of 12 with the Geneva boxing team and won the New York State Golden Gloves Championship at the age of 14, the New York State AAU Championship in 1974 and 1975, holding an amateur record of 73 wins, 3 losses, and 28 knockouts. And whereas Rocky enlisted in the U.S. Army in 1975 and went on to acquire titles such as U.S. Armed Forces Inter-Service Champion, which qualified him for the 1976 U.S. Olympic boxing trials. And whereas Rocky was honorably discharged from the Army in 1976 and began his professional boxing career winning 24 fights straight and being the sparring partner to world champion Marvelous Marvin Hagler. And whereas he defeated Rocky Mosley Jr. to win the NABF title on April 25th, 1981, and was named number 2 super welterweight in the world, leading to the first world title fight held in Rochester, which he would narrowly lose in a 1-point majority decision. And whereas Rocky retired in 1982, but came out of retirement to fight 2 more fights before ultimately hanging up his gloves in 1986. And whereas Rocky lives in Geneva with his wife, Sally, and has managed other boxers throughout his retirement. And now, therefore, let it be known that we, Sabrina Lamar, President, and Mercedes Vasquez Simmons, Legislator District 22, do hereby honor Ralph Rocky Frado on this 13th day of December, 2022.
My father couldn't be here tonight. He's not feeling well. He really wanted to be here. I just want to thank everybody for this. It really means a lot to him. He started his career back in Rochester when he was 12 at St. Martin's Boxing Club in 1971. He had his first championship fight here when he won the North American title, and he also fought in Henrietta, all over Monroe County in this area. And as they stated, he had the first world championship fight in Rochester, New York. So it means a lot for him, for you guys to do this. And he's really going to enjoy this, and we'll have it up on his wall with all of his other stuff, but it means a lot. So thank you guys for doing this.
Yeah, when he calls you guys up. Yeah.
Would Johnny Vega please come forward? Also, Legislator Mercedes Vasquez Simmons and President Sabrina Lamar.
We're not only doing on the screen here, we've got several deaf in the audience that can be involved. No, not if everybody's around you. So we're center.
You guys
Come
stand
right in
right
front
in,
here.
we'll move the camera. We'll aim the camera. The Monroe County Legislature recognizes Johnny Vega, whereas it is the sense of this legislature to honor and celebrate the people and organizations that make Monroe County a better place to live, and whereas attendant to such concern, we are justly proud to honor Johnny Vega, who serves Monroe County in the greater Rochester community. And whereas Johnny Vega has influenced salsa in the music industry as he elevated the quality of music through mentoring and helping others. And whereas Johnny has played with many groups such as Orquesta Sabor, La Murala, and on and off with Orquesta Antonetti, that rose to the top and was essential in developing unique sounds. And whereas Johnny, who is also known as the Salsa Maestro, has award-winning songs that are still recognized today and are influential in places such as Panama, Peru, Chile, and more. And whereas Johnny has worked with many bands in assisting in songwriting, coaching, and overall influence, as he has many connections to the music industry. And whereas Johnny has dedicated much to the Latino community and continues to devote much of his time to assisting others, and many of his songs continue to be sung and performed today. And now, therefore, let it be known that we, Sabrina Lamar, President, and Mercedes Vasquez Simmons, Legislator District 22, do hereby honor Johnny Vega for his commitment to serving Rochester and Monroe County on this 13th day of December 2022.
I wasn't expecting this, so they called me and said they wanted me to report here, and it's an honor being here with all of you. I want to thank you for the invite, and I want to tell you something, a little bit about my music. I've been singing since I was 8 years old, started writing songs when I was 10. I've written to the biggest singers from Puerto Rico and Venezuela and Colombia. I've been writing songs, being a member of ASCAP for 45 years, Association of Composers and Authors. And talking about Muralla, I got here in 1970, and when I came here, they didn't have a band. They had groups, with guitar, but no brass. So, I came from one of the top #1 Puerto Rico band, Cortijo and his Combo, internationally known, and I was his vocalist, right? So what happened is I told the guys, I said, we're going to make a band. I need trumpet, I need trombones, I need a bass player, a piano player, not guitar. So we did that, and I said, anybody that plays trumpet here? It says, no. I said, what do you mean, no? Nobody plays salsa here? He said, no. I says, you got a music school here? He says, we have the best school, Eastman School of Music. I said, Monday we're going to go to Eastman School of Music, and we're going to start bringing in somebody that plays trumpet. I got 3 students from there, Bruce Trojan, Dale Kirkland, and Bob Troiano. And I put them in a basement and started teaching them the rhythm of the clave and the salsa, and they loved it. And it's an honor to say that when they left, the next one that played with all was no one other than Jeff Tysick. Jeff Tysick was the director of the Rochester Philharmonic, and he played trumpet with Orquesta La Muralla. And I want to thank you, really, really thank you for inviting me. God bless you all, and may you have a blessed Christmas holiday. Thank you.
I will now recess the legislature to hold a series of public hearings. I now declare open the public hearing on resolutions entitled Establishing Scales of Charges for the Gates Chalai Ogden Sewer District, County Sewer District for Monroe County, New York.
No one was registered for this public hearing.
There being none, I declare this public hearing closed. I now declare open the public hearing on resolution entitled Establishing Scales of Charges for the Irondequoit Bay South Central Pure Water District, County Sewer District for Monroe County, New York.
No one was registered for this public hearing.
There being none, I declare this public hearing closed. I now declare the public hearing on resolutions entitled Establishing Scale of Charges for the Northwest Quadrant Pure Water District, County Sewer District for Monroe County, New York.
No one was registered for this public hearing.
There being none, I declare this public hearing closed. I now declare open the public hearing on resolutions entitled Establishing Scale of Charges for Rochester Pure Waters District, County Sewer District for County of Monroe, New York.
No one was registered for this public hearing.
There being none, I declare this public hearing closed. I will now reconvene the December 13th, 2022 meeting of the Monroe County Legislature. There are no formal committee reports scheduled for this evening. We will now hold the public forum. We have several people registered to address the legislature. Mr. Clerk?
If you require assistance, a deputy is available to assist you in approaching the lectern. I will call 3 people forward at one time. Each speaker will have 2 minutes in which to address the legislature, and kindly conclude your remarks when the timer sounds. And please exit through the door right over here to my right. And if you could, just please don't block the screen. The first 3 speakers are Jessica Kilpatrick, Katie Ryag, and Keith Farrell.
While they are walking up this point of information, legislative.
Yes, I did note it. Thank you.
Okay. Hi, I'm Jessica Kilpatrick. I work for CPS, the training unit, and I've been coming to speak here every month starting in August. People continue to leave. I'm here to talk about the vacancies. We hired 5 people in December of 2021, and they have all left. We hired 3 people in March of 2022, and we have 1 left. We hired 3 people in July of 2022, and they are all still here. They will be going to their new teams in January. We're hoping to hire a class in January of 2023. So you don't need me to do the math for you. People aren't staying. This is a very difficult job. I've been doing it for 9 years, but I care about the people, the children of Monroe County, and I'd rather that I stay here knowing that I'm vested in helping. It's predominantly low-income families that we're serving. But it's getting very difficult. There are people, everyone is basically looking for other employment. And I'm just wondering, what are we going to do? Because pretty soon, there's not going to be anybody left to investigate cases of abuse and neglect. And I've been saying this and saying this. So I'm not sure because I don't get paid to make those decisions. I'm here to train the new caseworkers that are hired. But I will let you know, we're in dire circumstances. There are not enough bodies to investigate all of the reports of abuse and neglect that we get in. So you're going to have children going hungry, children getting beaten to death, children being sexually abused, children that are witnessing their parents fighting. I think it's safe to say everybody's dealing with mental health on some spectrum right now. Everybody who's gone through this pandemic, even people with resources. So, one foot in front of the other. Everyone's doing the best they can with what they have, but CPS is running out of bodies to do the work. I'll see you in January.
Good evening. My name is Katie Rigg, and I live at 23 Dundas Drive in Rochester. I'm a co-lead for Color Penfield Green, and I'm a member of the Penfield Central School District Sustainability Committee. I spoke in August before you enacted the Monroe County Climate Action Plan by nearly unanimous vote. One of my reasons for being here tonight is to thank you for taking that step and committing to a more sustainable future for all of us. I'm also here tonight to ask you again to fund staff to implement this bold plan and to build multiple compost facilities here in the county. With these facilities, we can rapidly ramp up municipal food waste diversion from the large producers and all residents. This is an important solution for reducing our greenhouse gas emissions, and it is a popular one. Color Your Community Green team members tabled at the Rochester Makers Fair last month, and it took no time at all to get 50 additional signatures on our petition asking for composting facilities. This is on top of the 400 plus signatures we submitted to you last summer. It really takes no effort at all. Everybody that comes to the table wants to see this. Not only will this reduce our carbon footprint, but it will protect our groundwater supplies. Food has a high moisture content, and when it decomposes in landfills, the water suspends the toxins we throw away, leaching them into the soil, eventually carrying them to our rivers and streams. We drastically reduce the danger when we compost our food waste. We need to be doing this for our kids. Our school district sustainability committee is led by high school students, and last week I was able to help them finish the third food waste audit of the schools in our district. The elementary school children loved participating in sorting their lunch waste. They get it, and we need you to help create an alternative to simply throwing everything away. What a literal waste. Let's make nutrient-rich soil for our local farms, stop leaching toxins into our groundwater, reduce our methane emissions, and create jobs while we're doing it. It's a win-win-win all around. Thank you very much.
Good evening. My name is Keith Farrell. I'm the current president of the Rochester Airport Professional Firefighters Association, Local 1636. Tonight, you're supposed to be voting on our next collective bargaining agreement. I just want to take the opportunity to let you know that the 21 members of our local voted unanimously to pass this TSA to come to your desk. We negotiated in good faith with the county, and we have accepted the terms set forth. A unit has had a long battle just to get to the point where we are. I have worked for Monroe County for 18 years, and if approved, this would be the very first contract put in place before the old one expired. You know, it was nice to finally take part in a negotiation where there was mutual respect and we felt respected and we didn't get belittled the entire time. Our main focus during the entire negotiation process was retention. We were losing many of our members to other area fire departments, mostly because of a large discrepancy in pay and benefits. So this contract, it's a positive step in the right direction for us to help to retain our membership. We take pride in being Union Airport firefighters, and we want to thank the county's bargaining team, the airport administration, for their hard work and mutual respect during negotiations. And thank you for your consideration, and we respectfully ask that you approve the contract. Thank you.
Our next three speakers are Melanie Bernhardt, Glenna Chance, and Megan Myers.
Hi, my name's Melanie Bernhardt. I was here last month. I noticed a topic last month that was hot was staffing issues in the healthcare industry and the jail system. We're also having staffing issues in the school system, the social service systems, as Jessica has pointed out, service industries, and pretty much across the board in Monroe County and New York State. Also, I need to clarify something that was said last meeting was our hospitals are also overloaded and can't take in any more patients. There's something to understand called a staff to patient ratio. If you don't have enough staff, you can't bring in any more patients. It has nothing to do with the physical bed. Just wanted to make sure that was clear. So the question is, why are we having trouble with staffing? Why can't we get people to stay? Why can't we get people from other states to come in and take these jobs that we have? Well, what has changed the last couple of years? Let's see. There's been COVID vaccine mandates. There's been masking. And then there's been, if there's no mandates, there's been weekly or daily PCR testing. A lot of people chose to leave their jobs instead of take that option, and they have since left the state. Something else interesting that came out by Edward Dowd recently, who's done a fabulous analyzation of the insurance industry. And by the way, the death rate's up 40% over the last 2 years. You should be asking yourself, why is that? He also mentioned the disability of people leaving the workforce. In the last 2 years, 1.2 million people have left the workforce due to a disability. Where is the disability come from? Where is the increase in death coming from in life insurance? I highly recommend you do some research. You think you have staffing issues now? It's going to get even worse. And based on the bills I'm seeing that are coming down the pike in 2023, more people are going to leave New York. You need to be looking at every bill that comes across your desk and analyze it. To do research, and you're wondering where I'm getting the information, there's a documentary called Died Suddenly on Rumble. It's an hour long. Senator Ron Johnson just did a COVID roundtable last week on the 7th. You can catch that on thehighwire.com. There's a 9-minute highlight or a 3-hour forum to learn more information there. The Dr. Fauci deposition on the 5th of December, very eye-opening. The vSafe database, Steve Kirsch's Substack. Again, I was here every time, every month. I encourage you to do your research, start connecting the dots and see what's happening. And believe it or not, you can start to find it on Twitter now. So I'm going to summarize with this just quickly. Every time I come, that COVID vaccine and the boosters that have come out are still not FDA approved to this day, and there are no package inserts, and if there are, they're blank. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Glenna Chance, and I'm the director of MCSadvocacy.com and the author of the 2011 book, Which Poison Will Change Your Life. My topic is RGE's imminent smart meter rollout. My question is, what part has Monroe County had in condoning and approving this project? I will read bullet point statements to save time. These meters are dangerous, unapproved radio frequency data collection devices. Irrefutable science proves their harm. They are banned in many countries, and in this country, banned in the entire state of New Mexico. Please reference stopsmartmeters.org and stopsmartmetersnewyork.org for scientific statistics. No one is exempt from the debilitating effects of these devices, including you, your families, and your pets, if you allow them to be installed on your properties. As with any health scourge, county tax revenue will potentially decrease as a result of damaged county property and debilitated property owners due to the fire, explosion, and health hazards of these meters. Resultant unemployment and workers' compensation claims would affect the county's budgetary bottom line. RGE is and/or will be in violation of laws and regulations by forcing this technology on homeowners and businesses. 3 examples of this. The 7th Circuit Court deemed these meters in violation of the 4th Amendment. The ADA prohibits disabled discrimination based on medical status. This includes monetary punishment, which RGE plans to impose with its opt-out fee. The Public Service Commission requires timely response to customer inquiry. RGE has not adhered to this requisite, leaving customers ignorant of and unprepared for its plans. If and when RGE does respond, it is with literature from industry-funded studies which are inherently biased. It is not too late to call a moratorium on this rollout. I am available for in-depth discussion of this life-altering matter. Thank you.
I'm Megan Meyer, and I am also a member of Color Penfield Green and co-lead our Healthy Yards Monroe County. Just want to say I love our county parks, and I was so excited to see that they are following some more ecologically friendly mowing practices, and some of those to increase some of those native plants for our pollinators. But I am here actually to talk about the concern that I have on the impact of food waste in our county. More than 1/3 of all food grown for human consumption is wasted in the United States, and it ends up in landfills and creates harmful methane, which has more than 80 times the warming power of carbon dioxide over the first 20 years after it reaches the atmosphere. At least 25% of today's global warming is driven by methane from human actions. I applaud Rock City's compost pilot program and how it has educated residents to compost food scraps and not throw them into landfills. Rock City's waste hauler, though, Impact Earth, has to haul this to a composting facility close to Geneva, not even in our county. If we are to expand these programs beyond the pilot program in the city and into our towns and villages in Monroe County, we need a facility closer to home that closes the gap on hauling food waste this far. I encourage you to explore what they are doing and bring this to Monroe County so that we reduce our county's carbon footprint, and to also offer this superior vermicompost that is an amazing soil amendment for gardens and top dressing other residential areas. And many thanks for your time to listen to this and consider this as an action item for our Monroe County Climate Action Plan.
Our last two speakers are Terrence Schnurr and Cassandra Tilleman.
Good evening, legislators. Earlier tonight, I emailed each of you a copy, a link to a proposed redistricting map. Let's compare that map with two other maps that have been recently circulated publicly. Using the criteria set forth in Section 34.4 Municipal Home Rule Law, the Schnurr map, the Staub map, and the Bellow map all meet the population parity requirements. Of course, that's the whole point of redistricting. The Staub and Bellow maps each contain 6 unconstitutional racial gerrymanders. The Schnurr map safeguards the voting strength of our Black, Latina, and Asian communities and abides by the 14th Amendment, the Voting Rights Act, and decades of legal precedent. The Bellow and Schnurr maps contain contiguous districts. The Staub map contains a district which, to use an old legal term of art, is not convenient. 7 months a year, one has to travel through another district in order to go around the entire district. With respect to the subsection E factors, the Schnurr map is superior to or comparable to the Staub and Bellow maps in every respect. Most notably, the Schnurr map is not drawn to target any or protect any particular candidate, whereas it appears that both of the other two maps do so. This final requirement is the efficient administration of elections. The best way to accomplish that is to, as quickly as possible, adopt a reasonable and lawful map. Or you can take your chances with a special master. Choose wisely. Thank you, and have a good night.
Hello, my name is Cass Tillman. I've been a Monroe County resident for about 50 years, and I currently live in Penfield now. I'm here because I'm strongly in favor of building and maintaining multiple organic compost facilities in our county. And while volunteering for Color Penfield Green and Healthy Yards Monroe County, of which I'm a member, I've learned quite a lot of stuff. And one of the things I've learned is that food waste going to the landfill releases methane gas. As proper composting requires oxygen, otherwise methane gas is emitted into our environment. And driving food waste out of the county just adds to our use of fossil fuels, as well as a bit of a waste of money. In addition, building multiple composting sites will make it possible for businesses that generate 2 tons of food waste per week to comply with the food donation and food scraps recycling law. This will keep significant amounts of food scraps out of the landfill and a significant win for climate action. I really want to thank you for passing the climate action plan. It is great to see my own hometown and my county taking climate action seriously. I further support adding line items to the budget for hiring of staff dedicated to climate initiatives and, of course, funding for the act and other climate actions. Otherwise, we won't be able to move forward. Thank you.
This concludes the public forum.
At this time, we will recess December 13th, 2022 meeting of the Monroe County Legislature, and we will convene the Gates, Chi, Ogden Sewer District, Arundecoit Bay South Central Pure Water District, Northwest Quadrant Pure Waters District, and the Rochester Pure Waters District of the Pure Waters Administrative Board. If there are no objections regarding referral number 22-0367, we will lift from the table all 4 districts with 1 vote and adopt all 4 districts with 1 vote. The clerk will see to it that the individual motion and resolution numbers are assigned to each. Mr. Clerk, please note the attendance and read the first item on the agenda.
PWeb agenda items, item numbers 1, 5, 8, and 12, referral 22-0367, providing that resolution entitled Establishing Scale of Charges for Gates, Chi, Ogden Sewer District, Arundecoit Bay South Central Pure Waters District, Northwest Quadrant Pure Waters District, and Rochester Pure Waters District for County of Monroe, New York, be lifted from the table.
Moved by Legislator McCabe, seconded by Legislator Smith. This is a motion to lift from the table. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Item carries. Next item.
PWeb agenda item numbers 2, 6, 9, and 13. Referral 22-0367, providing that resolution entitled Establishing Scale of Charges for Gates, Chi, Ogden Sewer District, Arundecoit Bay South Central Pure Waters District, Northwest Quadrant Pure Waters District, and Rochester Pure Waters District for County of Monroe, New York, be adopted.
Moved by Legislator McCabe, seconded by Legislator Smith. This is a motion to adopt. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Item carries. Next item.
PWeb agenda item number 3, referral 22-0377. Authorize a contract with Schuler Haas Electric for construction services for the Rochester Pure Waters District's Frank E. Van Laer Resource Recovery Facility Secondary Clarifier Improvements Project Phase 2.
Moved by Legislator McCabe, seconded by Legislator Smith. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Item carries. Next item.
PWeb agenda item number 4, referral 22-0384. Increase and improvement of facilities in the Rochester Pure Waters District, general collection system and treatment plant improvements, and authorize an interfund transfer.
Moved by Legislator McCabe, seconded by Legislator Smith. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye. Any opposed? Item carries. Next item.
PWeb agenda item number 7, referral 22-0382, increase and improvement of facilities in the Gates, Chi, Ogden Sewer District, general collection system improvements, and authorize an appropriation transfer.
Moved by Legislator McCabe, seconded by Legislator Smith. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Item carries. Next item.
PWeb agenda item number 10, referral 22-0386, increase and improvement of facilities in the Arundecoit Bay South Central Pure Waters District, general pump station and interceptor improvements, and authorize an interfund transfer.
Moved by Legislator McCabe, seconded by Legislator Smith. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Item carries. Next item.
PWeb Agenda Item Number 11, Referral 22-0388, Increase and Improvement of Facilities in the Irondequoit Bay South Central Pure Waters District, Lake Ontario Resiliency and Economic Development Initiative, READY, Sandbar WWPS Project, and amend the 2023 capital budget and bond resolution 125 of 2020 to provide an increase in funding.
Moved by Legislator McCabe, seconded by Legislator Smith. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Item carries. Next item.
PWeb Agenda Item Number 14, Referral 22-0380, Increase and Improvement of Facilities in the Northwest Quadrant, Pure Waters District, General Pump Station, Interceptor, and Treatment Plant Improvements, and authorize an interfund transfer.
Moved by Legislator McCabe, seconded by Legislator Smith. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Item carries. Next item. We will now recess the Gates Chili Ogden Sewer District, Irondequoit Bay South Central Pure Waters District, Northwest Quadrant Pure Waters District, and Rochester Pure Waters District, and adjourn the Pure Waters Administrative Board. The December 13th, 2022 meeting of the Legislature is now reconvened. We will now proceed with the consideration of motions, resolutions, and notices. Will the clerk read the next item on the agenda?
Item number 1, Referral Number 22-0333, authorizing grant contract and appropriation transfers pursuant American Rescue Plan Act, ARPA.
Moved by Legislator Smith, seconded by Legislator Delahanty and Legislator Roman. Is there any discussion? Legislator Brew.
Yes, thank you, Madam President. I'd like to explain my vote. I'd like to take just a moment to explain that, and again, echo some of the statements that have already been made, specifically to clarify some of the unfortunate misinformation that's been spread regarding the ARPA funding allocation. There has been misinformation spread that the majority caucus has delayed this funding. This is completely false, and you can simply tell by reading the referral, which states the contracts cannot be authorized until on or after January 1st, 2023. If this isn't clear enough, this means that if the full legislature adopted this immediately upon submission with zero review, the contracts would still not be able to commence until January 1st. I find it disappointing that legislators performing their duly elected responsibilities of fiscal oversight would be accused of delaying funds that cannot be released until January. Legislators were not involved in scoring nor selection committee for applications, given any advance time to review applications or any true involvement in this process until the final list was put before us. So when we did receive the final list of nearly $100 million in projects, yes, the Republican majority did take the time to review these applications, scoring sheets, and more to ensure that our taxpayer dollars are being spent appropriately and efficiently, but this did not delay any contract whatsoever. Even if there was anyone in this room who doesn't believe that one of the largest funding allocations ever put before this legislature requires thorough vetting, then you are not properly representing your constituents. I fully support funding organizations in Monroe County that provide services to the neediest members of our community, particularly our veterans and vulnerable taxpayers. So it is my hope that we can avoid any of this in the future through the legislature's involvement in future RFQs in their selection committees. I'd like to thank the administration to allow us for the opportunity for a caucus-wide briefing and allowing a review of all scoring sheets and applications. Over the last month, however, I'm again disappointed that the administration or members of this body engaged in misinformation about any delay in these funds or making the organizations think they had already been approved. I look forward to future legislature involvement in RFQ selection committees and for the commitment that we receive that further ARPA dollars will be prioritized for our struggling EMS and fire agencies who have been left without support far too long. I will be more and proud to support this referral tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. Go ahead, Legislator Bernhardt.
Thank you. I'm just going to echo the comments that I made at the Ways and Means Committee meeting here in the full legislature. It's very obvious that the staff, the administration worked very hard on this ARPA process, from public input to reviewing applications to making selections. And in fact, the legislature was kept informed about this process, about the public input, about the scoring mechanism. I felt very comfortable up until the awards were initially announced. I was not satisfied with that process starting from that date. On September 22nd, legislators received an invitation to an unveiling of the ARPA awards at a press conference. We did not have a lot of information about the grants. We were given a list, and maybe there were a couple sentences per grant, even on awards for millions of dollars. That day, I asked for the applications in an email that went to 21 people, including members of the administration. A month later, I still had not received any additional information about these awards. On October 22nd, when it became clear we might be voting on these awards at the following Ways and Means Committee meeting a few days later, I followed up and emailed, okay, do I have to file an open records request for these applications? I got an immediate response then that I could make an appointment to view the applications, but only in person. Again, this was only a few days before we were supposed to vote. So I at that time, I was unaware that the majority planned to withhold the legislation. I didn't know that until we showed up to the October meeting. So, but here's what was happening in the meantime between September 22nd and October 21st, when I had no information, and apparently the majority didn't either. A lot of press conferences celebrating these awards, a lot of parties celebrating these awards. And at these press conferences, right before the election, politicians were getting a political benefit from making these announcements. And yes, legislators were invited, but that's not the same as allowing us to do our due diligence. Meantime, a lot of nonprofits started to ask questions. Well, where's our money? Where's our money? Where's the awards? And we got emails from people saying, really implying that the awards, they'd already been given the money. So where is it? And, you know, the legislature was really kept in the dark, treated like a rubber stamp, while a lot of people were getting a political benefit through these celebrations. Now, when I went to view the applications, really the summaries could have been provided to the legislature, and I would have been totally fine with that. The information provided when I went in person was really above and beyond. I was, again, very, very impressed with the agencies, all of the nonprofits, the work that they put into this, these big binders. The summary pages alone would have been fine. And if we wanted additional information, then that would have given us the springboard to ask for additional information about those nonprofits. So I really regret that this has dragged on. I don't fully understand a lot of the things that happen behind the scenes on the side of the majority and the administration and those talks, but I do understand what my experience was as a legislator trying to get information about these awards. I am really excited to vote yes. I'm excited for these nonprofits. I'm sorry that it took so long, but I've been ready to vote, and I can't wait to see what the impact of this funding on the community. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there any other discussion? Go ahead, Legislator Roman.
Not have prepared notes address the concerns, but I feel I have to say something. Just having worked in the nonprofit sector for over 20 years, I can truly empathize with organizations who receive notice that they should, in essence, start planning and preparing for reimbursements starting January 1. I continue to hear that, yes, there was no holdup because the grants or the contracts can't start until the new year. But for anyone who knows how budgets work for the nonprofit sector, specifically a lot of organizations who are functioning with tight budgets, any allocations organizations start to prepare for the moment in which they are hearing that they are receiving them. So as mentioned, right, we started these conversations sometime in September. And it is unfortunate that it has taken so long for our nonprofit partners to be able to prepare. Right now, we are providing them with about, if this so passes, and I hope it does, we're providing them with about a month to start programming. And I can only imagine the amount of rigor and work that is going to have to be put into ensuring that organizations can start to do the work to receive reimbursements from the very start of these contracts. We're talking about the holidays. So I just want to note that I am thrilled. We have all done our due diligence. Many legislators were prepared to vote, several months ago to allow our nonprofit partners the opportunity to best prepare for some of this really vital work. So thank you. That's it.
Is there any other discussion? So I would like to, I'm sorry, go ahead, legislator.
Clear my interest.
Thank you. Thank you. Any other discussion? So I would like to explain my vote. I am actually excited to finally be getting this ARPA funding out to the most vulnerable in our community. And just note that this funding has been available since 2021. We could have moved on this way before today. But I also want to clarify a few things. I'm very disappointed that that county funds were spent in an attempt to smear me because I questioned the process by which these funds were allocated. After I was contacted by various organizations who thought that they were unfairly excluded, but I stand by my decision. To be falsely accused of holding up funding because I'm allegedly trying to help my friends is beyond ridiculous. It is downright slanderous. People who know me personally called and emailed me because they know this is not how I operate. I had no problem explaining the situation to them, and I refused to be rushed into passing the funding resolution until we received satisfactory answers to the questions that were raised. $144 million is a lot of money. And as a legislator, I have a fiduciary responsibility to the taxpayers of Monroe County. The legislature is a co-equal branch of county government, not a subsidiary of the administration. I firmly assert our right to carry out our collective responsibility as outlined in the county charter. I was elected by the voters in the 27th district. They are the people I answer to. I will continue to question those things that I feel are incorrect, and I am always willing to work cooperatively with the county executive to do whatever is best on behalf of the people of Monroe County. That is how county government is supposed to operate. Two co-equal branches working together on behalf of the people, not ourselves. Thank you. And there being no further discussion, all in favor? Go ahead, Legislator Burgess. Thank you. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Item carries. Next item on the agenda.
Item number 2, referral 22-0358, committing general fund unassigned fund balance for a specific purpose of funding climate action initiatives as recommended in adopted Climate Action Plan Phase 1 of Monroe County.
Moved by Legislator McCabe, seconded by Legislator Smith. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Item carries. Next item. Go ahead, Legislator Brew.
Thank you, Madam President. I'd like to make a motion to move agenda items 3 through 33 as a whole.
All in favor? 3 through 33.
This is a motion to move items 3 through 33 as a whole.
All in favor? Any opposed? I'm sorry, Legislator Burgess, did you have something? I didn't hear you, I'm sorry.
I thought we were going to have a discussion.
Oh, on the moving of those items? Sure, I'm sorry.
I'm in favor.
Thank you, Legislator Baines. Thank you. So 3:30. Next item on the agenda.
Item number 34, referral 22-0435, confirming scale of charges for Gates Charlie Ogden Sewer District, Northwest Quadrant Pure Waters District, Irondequoit Bay South Central Pure Waters District, and Rochester Pure Waters District, County Sewer District of County of Monroe, New York.
Moved by Legislator McCabe, seconded by Legislator Smith. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Item carries. Next item.
Item number 35, referral 22-0436, authorizing various budget appropriation transfers related to 2022 operating budget.
Moved by Legislator Smith, seconded by Legislator Delahanty. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Item carries. Next item.
Item number 36, referral 22-0437, 2022 equalization table, real and franchise property and ratios of assessed value to full value.
Moved by Legislator Smith, seconded by Legislator Delahanty. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Item carries. Next item.
Item number 37, referral 22-0438, unpaid school taxes.
Moved by Legislator Smith, seconded by Legislator Delahanty. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Item carries. Next item.
Item number 38, referral 22-0439, authorizing Director of Finance to make refunds or corrections of taxes for year 2023.
Moved by Legislator Smith, seconded by Legislator Delahanty. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Item carries. Next item.
Item number 39, referral 22-0440, assessment on towns for delinquent water and sewer taxes.
Moved by Legislator Smith, seconded by Legislator Delahanty. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Item carries. Next item.
Item number 40, referral 22-0441, levying taxes and assessments required for purposes of annual budgets of towns of Monroe County for year 2023.
Moved by Legislator Smith, seconded by Legislator Delahanty. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Item carries. Next item.
Item number 41, referral 22-0368, providing that resolution entitled adopting of 2023 Monroe County budget and establishing 2023 classification, compensation, and salary schedule for Monroe County employees be lifted from the table.
Moved by Legislator Smith, seconded by Legislator Delahanty and
Legislator Roman.
Legislator Roman. This is a motion to lift from the table. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Item carries. Next item.
Item number 42, referral 22-0368, providing that resolution entitled adopting of 2023 Monroe County budget and establishing 2023 classification, compensation, and salary schedule for Monroe County employees be adopted.
Moved by Legislator Smith, seconded by Legislator Delahanty. This is to adopt. Is there any discussion? Go ahead, Legislator.
I represent proud and strong areas of the city. Sadly, too many tragedies have taken place in our neighborhoods, and public safety is a top priority for my constituents. Only by working together can our communities succeed. We are all familiar with the issue that occurred on Union Street in 2021, and the goals is to help prevent further tragedies. I think addressing our community needs requires additional resources. For those reasons, I rise to proudly introduce an amendment to add such needed positions in the Department of Public Safety. I ask for a second from one of my colleagues.
Oh, boy. Hang on one second. This is a,
Second.
so I have an amendment moved by legislator Vasquez Simmons, and I had it seconded by a bunch of legislators. Can I, can I get some hand raised or? All right.
Can we make sure Legislator Delvecchio Hoffman has a copy?
Yes, I'm going to email. Will you get that? And I'll email her the copy.
Is there any discussion on this? Go ahead, Legislator Dondorfer. Oh, wait a minute, Legislator Dondorfer's first, and then you.
I'd just like to actually take this opportunity to offer my support for this amendment so that our public safety department is as strong as it could possibly be. In discussion with the administration, in addition to overall boost to the leadership of our public safety division, this will alleviate some of the workload of Director Tantillo, who has done a great job in this position despite the increased workload. In addition, the administration has stated that they are close to selecting a new head of the probation department, and I look forward to that urgent filling of these positions for this immensely important department. In conjunction, this position will also help with the oversight and leadership of our probation department and is immensely important to the public safety department as a whole. With this in mind, I greatly support this amendment to bolster our overall public safety and the integral operations of our probation department. This amendment will ensure that Monroe County's public safety has the resources and position it needs and deserves. By adding this position of Assistant Director of Public Safety, we will be bolstering an important department that helps protect our community every day, and I hope that my colleagues will join me in voting yes for the creation of this position. Thank you.
Thank you. Legislator Burgess? Oh, thank you. Is there any other discussion? Seeing none. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Item carries.
Legislator Delvecchio Hoffman, I just want to make sure that you were able to get that amendment.
I did. Thank you, Mr. Grant.
Okay. That was on the First Amendment.
Yes. Next item.
We're still on the amendment.
I'm sorry. Yes, Legislator Smith.
I have another amendment, Madam President. I would like to offer an amendment for the Cornell Cooperative Extension and take a moment to explain why. I was proud to sponsor this amendment that will fully fund the nutrition program and the educator position created in Cornell.
Legislator Smith, can you just make sure that you speak? There you go.
Cooperative Extension. I was proud to create the position in 2021 with Majority Leader Brew to address a need and ask of CCE in our community. Cornell Cooperative Performance has strongly grown in the last couple of years, going from about 22,000 contacts in 2021 to an estimation of around 28,000 this year and a projection of 29,500 next year. This position that was first funded through the Community Contingency Fund has been a vital part of that growth. The person who they selected was highly qualified and has traveled all around the county to teach about wellness, healthy eating, healthy food budgeting, and much more. Cornell Cooperative is very excited to keep this position funded. This amendment will ensure the continuance of this funding and a position for the benefit of all of our community members, bolstering the already amazing services that Cornell Cooperative Extension provides all across Monroe County. I hope that my colleagues will join me in supporting this amendment that is helping to provide a healthier lifestyle to thousands of Monroe County residents. The legislative staff has also handed out this amendment. Thank you.
Who was that? Legislator Mafucci, Legislator Long, and then the entire caucus. Okay. And I just want to make sure that Legislator Delvecchio Hoffman also received this amendment.
I did, thank you.
Are there any other amendments, discussions? Go ahead, Legislator DeFlorio.
Thank you, Madam President. I just want to explain my vote and just wholeheartedly support this amendment. Many legislators might not realize the vital work that Cornell Cooperative does in our community. So not just this position. I know this educator position has come out to Chi several times, to our community center, met with our seniors out there. But Cornell Cooperative also provides such vital services to our community. So again, I just wholeheartedly support this amendment and the great work they do at Cornell Cooperative. Thank you.
Thank you, Legislator DeFlorio. Anyone else? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Item carries. Next item.
This is back to the main motion.
Go ahead, Legislator Brew.
Yes.
Main motion. Go ahead, Legislator.
Through you, Madam President. During our Ways and Means, we spend a lot of time talking about the Monroe County Clerk's Office and the mobile DMVs. But for clarification, the 4 offices that are open all the time, they have security offices at those at this time. Is that correct?
I apologize, through the president, if you could repeat the question.
My question is, you have 4 full-time offices. You have security officers assigned there on a continuous basis.
Through the president, that's correct.
Do you use those security officers, they come out of your budget, or do they come out of the big contract we have with a security firm?
Through the president, previously, they were coming in directly out of the county clerk budget. I believe that there's a county-wide contract now that it has now come into as a chargeback for the county clerk. So the security charges now run through the county clerk's office like they do other departments. But prior to that new contract, they were directly coming out of our budget.
So you use the same firm that is countywide, is that correct?
Yes, that is correct, through the chair, or through the president, excuse me.
Okay. When I see in your annual report that we got just a week ago or less, you're looking at doing some other sites besides the towns that the mobile Ds were at originally. at all these sites, are you requiring to use that security firm or some other security firm?
Through the president, each site is going through this similar review regarding security. We are not using Monroe County's private contracted security for off-site locations. Those Securitas guards are only budgeted to fulfill their duties regarding the 4 fixed branches through the chair, or through the president, I apologize.
So when you've gone to some of the festivals that you mentioned in here, you use what kind of security for them?
Through the president, as with many other county departments, the county clerks has started tabling events at community gatherings. There is no transactions taking place at these community events, so there is probably only the provided security at those community events. The Monroe County Clerk's Office provides applications, information, answers questions on hand, similar to several other county departments and other community agencies.
Thank you, Madam President. I yield the floor.
Yes, prior to the final budget vote, I'd just like to say a couple words that I'm proud of the actions we took tonight to continue to strengthen our public safety efforts, help protect taxpayers, and bolster important county services such as Cornell Cooperative Extension. Thank you to all the legislators, my colleagues in the legislature here and the county executive that have put forth the budget, and recognizing that some of the amendments that we did request were vital to the community, and proud to support those as well. So again, thank you to the legislatures. I think it's a great budget. Special thank you to Bob Franklin, our amazing CFO, which he's probably getting on a plane tomorrow and heading to Bermuda. I don't know.
Thank you, Legislator Brew. Legislator Vecchia. Thank you very much. Legislator Burgess. Thank you. Is there any other discussion? So now we're voting on the main motion, correct?
Yes, as adopted by the previous amendments.
Yes. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Item carries. Next item. We will now have a brief recess so the county executive can sign the budget. Once the budget is signed, we will then move on with the rest of the agenda items.
Legislator Delvecchio Hoffman, we're going to get started here in a couple minutes. Just want to see you back up on the screen, and then we'll get going.
Next item on the agenda. Legislator Brew?
Yes, thank you, Madam President. I'd like to move agenda. Actually, this is a little bit different than my first moving agenda items. I'd like to move all remaining agenda items as a whole, with the exception of items number 43, 44, and 81.
Hang on. Yep.
I'm sorry, Legislator Brew, were you finished?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Legislator Bain?
Madam President, I'm in favor of the motion, but I would like an opportunity to be heard on item 75.
Yep, we'll pull that out.
Thank you very much.
At 74?
We'll just do what we have been doing in the past. If any legislator wishes to declare their interest on anything that's moved as a whole, please just contact me or my office or your staff, and we will make sure it's noted on the journal and on the reso.
So item number 43. And just for clarity, that was 43, 44. Baines wants to be heard on 75 and 81. Who seconded that? And all in favor of moving the agenda items? Aye. Any opposed? Item number 43.
Item number 43, referral 22-0467, authorized bond resolutions and appropriation transfers for the 2023 Monroe County capital budget.
Second.
Moved by Legislator Smith, second by Legislator Delahanty. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Item carries. Next item.
Item number 44, referral 22-0468, total tax levy 2022.
Second.
Moved by Legislator Smith, seconded by Legislator Delahanty. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Item carries. Next item.
Item number 75, referral 22-0416, approving collective bargaining agreement between Monroe County Executive and Monroe County Airport Firefighters Association, IAFF, Local 1636, AFL-CIO.
Second.
Okay. Was everybody a second?
Yes.
All right. Who moved that?
So moved by
Legislator
Legislator Smith, second by
Everybody.
Is there any discussion? Go ahead. Okay. 1 second.
I think it was significant that the president of the bargaining unit, President Keith Farrell, came forward tonight shared with this honorable body that this collective bargaining unit, as many in the history of this county, could not in recent memory recall a time when a contract was negotiated successfully prior to expiration. And I think it's important that we underline and applaud this kind of historic moment in the trajectory of our labor relations here in Monroe County. And maybe it won't always happen, but when it happens, it's an occasion for great rejoicing. So I appreciated President Keith Farrell coming forward, and I appreciate everybody who participated, and hopefully it represents a culture change that we will see going forward in our county. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you. I'd also like to speak.
I've worked closely with Local 1636 for almost 30 years. They're a tremendous unit of guys. They've been left behind, forgotten about by this county over the years, and it's nice that finally they're being recognized, that the county administration was able to get a contract done ahead of time, because they've been forgotten time and time again in this county. And the actions to bring them up to their neighbors throughout the county is a compliment to both parties for getting this done. Strongly in support of this. Congratulate my brothers from 1636 and want to congratulate the county for getting this done. And again, agreeing with Legislator Baines, hopefully this is what we're going to do and not leave these guys behind like they've been left behind.
Thank you, Legislator McCabe. Go right ahead, Legislator Kelly.
Yes, through you, Madam President. I have only say that as an active flight instructor out at the airport, I very much appreciate this service, and I'm so happy that we can get this done for them. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Item carries. Item number 81.
Item number 81, referral 22-0434, authorizing the acceptance and payment of healthcare and mental hygiene worker bonuses to Monroe County employees and amending contracts to pay healthcare, mental hygiene worker bonuses to Monroe County contractors.
Moved by Legislator Smith, seconded by Legislator Delahanty. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye. Any opposed? Item carries. There being no unfinished business, Legislator Brew.
Yes, Madam President, this honorable body stands adjourned. Our next meeting is scheduled for Tuesday, January 10th, at 6 p.m.
Happy holidays.